No malicious activity. That's what White House spokesman Josh Earnest has said about the computer glitch on Wall Street that shut down trading at the New York Stock Exchange. Joining me now from Capitol Hill is New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez. And let's just get straight to it. Just when it comes to this issue, but maybe more broadly, the question of cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, look, I think increasingly the challenge of cybersecurity is a national, dealing with it is a national imperative. So many of our financial systems, our energy systems, a wide spectrum of our society is driven by technological opportunities to be affected by a cyber attack. So as we saw with what happened with the files of tens of thousands of federal employees and the effect that it had there, we can understand the effect that it can have more broadly. So I'm looking forward to continuing to hear what the government says. I mean, it's not just the stock exchange. I understand the Wall Street Journal had a challenge, others, all happening at the same time. It makes me question what is really happening, but we'll have to continue to be vigilant. I think we have to have a more aggressive effort on cybersecurity nationally and working with the private sector as well, because this is the new frontier of security challenges.
Absolutely. And Senator, let's move on to Iran. You have been, you were an early and outspoken critic of the Iran talks. As a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, at the time chairman, you pushed to make sure that Congress has its imprint on the talks. And I want to read you part of a column from Tom Friedman recently. He said, talking about the talks, it keeps feeling as if it's always our side looking to accommodate Iran's needs. I wish we had just walked out once. When you signal to the guy on the other side of the table that you're not willing to either blow him up or blow him off to get up and walk away, you reduce yourself to just an equal and get the best bad deal nonviolence can buy. That's pretty harsh, but it kind of sounds like what you've been saying.
Well, when I read Tom Friedman's column about a week ago, I said, wow, this is exactly what I've been saying. And Tom Friedman's been generally pretty good to the administration on a whole host of foreign policy issues. Look, I think it's right on, spot on. And the title of that column, A Good Bad Deal, is the essence, I think, of where we're headed here. If a deal can be had at all. And what's the problem with that? The problem with that is what the administration said at the beginning that I totally embrace, is that no deal is better than a bad deal. I don't think there's such a thing as a good bad deal. It's either a good deal or it's a bad deal. And it's a bad deal if... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, do you think a good deal is even possible at this point? I mean, remember, the deadline now is allegedly Friday.
Well, look, I'm afraid that our red lines to the Iranians seem to be green lights. The reality is that how do we start these negotiations? We started these negotiations saying Iran cannot have the capacity for nuclear weapons. We started talking about that we needed to dismantle some of Iran's illicit nuclear infrastructures. We started saying that there is no right to enrich. And what do we have so far from what I can see? We have with the Iranians having an implicit ability to go ahead and enrich. We have a nuclear infrastructure that, despite the world powers sitting on the other side of the table, the Iranians have been able to keep most of their infrastructure in place. And at 10 to 15 years, they will have a clear pathway towards, if they choose to, towards pursuing a nuclear bomb. That is not where the national interest of the United States is, nor of our ally, the State of Israel.
Senator, just a quick two-word answer. If the Congress has 60 days, you wrote this law to review this deal if there is one, do you even think that you would have the votes to pass a refusal of the law? Yes or no?
To pass a...
Meaning to make sure that the deal doesn't live.
Oh, well, I think it depends upon what the deal is, and we'll have to see. I'll even reserve judgment, even though I'm concerned about where we're headed, on what the final deal looks like. But if it's a bad deal, I think there would be votes in the Senate to say it's a bad deal.
Okay, Senator Menendez, thank you very much for your time.